I just thought this would be a funny video and a fitting way to just like end this series, because now I am officially done with this series on my channel, because basically I just ran out of things to say.
So that was a fucking lie.
Hey, what is going on, Webhead? Brownaway here, and yeah, after all this time, I'm glad to say that we're officially back with more Class of '09 videos. I was feeling a little burnt out of this series. My last video was 5 months ago. It meant to be the finale of the series and all that, but I don't know, I just got a sudden renewed interest in the series again. And also, I'm just gonna add it as a part of my like video rotation of just random games, so don't expect too many videos, but I'll just do it randomly, like fuck it, because after reading some comments and stuff like that, it's just, might as well not put too much emphasis on it, you know, just fuck it, why not? So yeah, they're back. But anyway, the main topic of this video is Class of '09 Iceberg video. Now, there's like none that exists, so I kind of had to do some digging and just random knowledge and research, I guess if you want to call it that, of my own. Basically, yeah, obviously, if you don't know what an iceberg video is, I'm gonna just keep it brief. Basically, top level iceberg is knowledge that everybody knows, and then it gets more and more obscure, weird, creepy, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it just gets more and more strange and bizarre, and like things that are lesser known towards the bottom. Now, this series doesn't have like a huge, rich like history or lore really, and it's a relatively new series, so there's not too much, but I think I have more than enough topics to make this interesting. And yeah, if you're finding this video for the first time, this is your first Class of '09 video, what a weird place to start, but hey. But yeah, I'm not some all-knowing guru on Class of '09. There's bound to be a bunch of stuff I just didn't mention or forgot to put on this iceberg. But if you know anything, let me know in the comments and stuff like that. Maybe I'll make a part 2 of just like anything that like I forgot or things that could be added. But I also use the Class of '09 Reddit r/Class of '09 for a lot of info, you know, a lot of stuff. Without this, I couldn't have like come up with this video. And yeah, most of the entries are my own, but I did use some inspirations and I'll link them down below. But yeah, let's get this started, I guess. The trilogy. So in this layer, it's basically what you expect. It's me just gonna quickly go over Class of '09 as a whole. So Class of '09 is a series of anti-visual novel games by SBN3, and it was released in 2021, the first game, and then followed soon after by the second and third game in the series. Now, what do I mean by anti-visual novel? In short terms, this game goes against your typical cliche anime, high school, you know, dating sims and stuff like that. The game calls itself a rejection sim. Basically, instead of being like nice and, you know, trying to like date everybody, your goal is to be as horrible as possible and get into as much horrible situations as possible in the worst school ever. And the game follows topics of like suicide, self-harm, swearing, like, you know, just everything like insane. You play as the main character, Nicole, who's a sociopathic teenager who's basically just trying to make it everyone's problem. The game follows like a lot of topics that are just like absolutely absurd and wild. The game has a lot of like social commentary, but for the most part, everything in the game is meant to be taken as a joke. There are morals here and there, but that's not really what the game is about. The game is really just trying to make you laugh and stuff like that. The game is fully voiced, unlike most visual novels where you just kind of click and have to read. And the voice acting in this game, which I'll get into in later entries, is really fucking good. Honestly, it kind of carries this game. If this game didn't have voice acting, or at least good voice acting, I don't think anybody would care, but the acting just elevates the game to a whole new level, and the game's recently exploded within popularity in the past couple of years. The series' overall success have spawned in 2 other sequel games, like I already mentioned, anime, shorts, merchandise, even a full TV show that's apparently in the works. Yeah, each game has received very positive reviews on Steam, well, except for the third game, but yeah, we'll get into that when we get to that. The game follows a format of the traditional visual novel. You know, you're given multiple options, and each option leads to different routes, different scenes, and eventually all culminating into different endings that you get. Now, each of these endings varies depending on route. Sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're negative, sometimes they're morally gray. You know what I mean? Like, the game is just really open-ended. Not locked to any specific order you have to do them in. However, you are recommended to do all of them to get the full story of the game. Like, it's kind of not one of those games where you can just do one route and then just stop playing. You kind of want to see them all. Yeah, honestly, I'd super recommend this game, or at least watching a playthrough of it on YouTube. They're really fun, they're quick, you can beat the games in a couple hours. And if you really like stuff like South Park, just overall raunchy, dark, over-the-top humor, I think you'll love these games. Anime and shorts. Okay, so this section is basically just talking about the anime and the shorts that have spawned from it. So basically, Class of '09 has a couple of shorts slash animes been made to either promote the game or just as their own standalone thing. The first anime short, titled Class of '09, the anime short, came out in 2023, and it's basically just a longer ad for the first two games. That's all it really is. It adds in a little bit of extra detail pertaining one of the routes being the school shooter route in the first game. A while after this, a Kickstarter was made to get a full series off the ground, or at least the pilot for a full series. What do you know? The Kickstarter actually got funded and one full 12-minute pilot episode was made. The pilot is an original story that's not featured in any of the games, but in all honesty, in my opinion, it's not as good as the other games. Mainly, it kind of feels like way toned down compared to what the games have in store, but also it's a pilot too, so I guess that's why they weren't saving, like, you know, the biggest thing. This was just a thing to introduce the characters. And also, the pilot is kind of confusing to, like, if you don't know the games or anything like that. Like, it doesn't really make that much sense without you playing the other games. But it's still an alright pilot. Animation for the pilot was done by a Mexican animation studio called Kodea. Kodea, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not too sure. Third animated short was an ad that's literally a couple seconds long and is advertising the Nicole plushie that recently released. And the third one is just kind of random, and it was just made like out of nowhere seemingly. Maybe it's also a tease at a potential new episode. It basically involves sort of along the lines of the plot of the actual pilot episode, with Nicole and Jecka getting kicked out of Chipotle, and they just kind of like talk about it. Again, this one isn't really that interesting. I don't really like this one. It's just kind of whatever, but hey, it's more anime content. And yeah, so far that's every anime short or anime animation of Class of '09. Here's hoping that the series actually gets picked up. Apparently, SBN3 is in talks right now with making some sort of deal to get an actual full series, or at least shorts or episodes. I'm not really too sure on it, but yeah, I think Class of '09 is a really easy concept to make into a show. Here's hoping that everything turns out alright. SBN3. Okay, so here we go. The man, the myth, the legend. So yeah, SBN3 is the creator of the Class of '09 series, and he's a multimedia content creator, I guess. He just kind of does whatever. He started his YouTube channel back in 2013, where he mainly makes like comedy sketch videos and anime dubs of like random shows. He's made dubs of Batman Beyond and Yu Yu Hakusho and Yu-Gi-Oh, to name a few. But yeah, his channel is, like I said, just mainly a comedy variety show where he just like kind of does whatever. He has like puppets and stuff and a bunch of other shit. But he's also made stuff that predates Class of '09, but his type of humor has always persisted.
I have a question. Do you guys have family members that try to fuck you, like a lot of them? Because I feel like that's not normal, but I don't know.
Cool.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Please make these urges go away. My cousin is not hot. My cousin is not hot.
Hey, Kelly.
Whose fucking idea was it to put on Joe Rogan? Where's your stash of Xan, old man?
I'm trying to pop a golden gram. But I'm fucked up, but it's good.
Free Percocet? Hell yeah, hand it over.
This is actually my Mexican cartel supply, but it probably won't kill you.
Like, it's always pretty much remained the same as how it is in the actual Class of '09 games. He's also done other stuff, which I'll get into later. He also seems to have an obsession with this, like, early 2000s, like, aesthetic of just, like, I don't know, like, it's just the early 2000s aesthetic in general. And there are a lot of videos that clearly predate Class of '09, but basically led to him creating Class of '09. And then Class of '09 is the main thing he focused on throughout his career. Overall, he's kind of a funny guy, but the community doesn't really like him that much. And I'll also get into that later, but for the short end of it, he kind of doesn't really have the greatest reputation with the fandom. Basically, he and the fandom don't really agree on a lot of things, and he kind of doesn't really like the fans that much, but I'll get more into it, don't worry about that. But yeah, pretty weird and interesting channel. I'll genuinely say to check out his channel, because it is just weird and bizarre. And I'm kind of obsessed with it. I don't know why. It's just a really interesting. Wrath Club. Alright, so Wrath Club is the publisher of the second Class of '09 game, and the YouTube channel of Lyle Wrath, who is basically this famous, like, internet content creator slash voice actor for a lot of things, honestly. Like, he's been in a lot of stuff, mainly Newgrounds related stuff. He's also mostly focused on gaming related content, where he kind of goes over and recaps gaming information and news. If you're like me, you probably know him most from his appearances on Oni Plays. He's also hosted animated shorts and given news and information on his own channel about the Class of '09 series.
Right to when I do. The third game in the Class of '09 series, Class of '09 The Flip Side, is out now on Steam. This video is not sponsored, but Wrath Club is the publisher of the game, so I do get paid if you buy it. It's the final visual novel style game in the series, and the most controversial thing we've done so far. So if you live life on the edge, crush that shit up and snort it.
He even voices in the game as one of the teachers. Overall, he's a pretty funny dude. I like him a lot. Like, I just like his voice and stuff like that. Especially, he's one of my favorite, like, recurring cast members on Oni Plays. I strongly recommend to check out his content and stuff. He's really funny. And if you have, like, a lot of the same sense of humor as Class of '09, you'll probably like him. Gamers. Okay, so this is referencing a famous quote by SBN3 that a lot of people don't even realize that he came up with. It's from his series Batman Beyond Ill, which is like his dubbing parody series of Batman Beyond.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
He says this line in the nerd slash Jeffrey voice. And yeah, this line has become like kind of iconic meme like a few years ago. This meme was just spread out of context randomly and is pretty popular, and this is way before he was like more known for like Class of '09 and stuff. And also suspiciously, this character just looks like Jeffrey already, so it's just kind of funny. I guess he was just testing this voice out, what he wanted the Jeffrey character to be. Endings. As I mentioned before, Class of '09 is the whole point of the game is to basically choose different routes and options to get different endings. Now, these endings have set paths, obviously, that you can get to, but it's best to go in just blind, completely unaware of what's gonna happen next. Yeah, basically the endings have two different routes, either one good one or one bad one. Sometimes they just have multiple different routes that have different branching pathways to it. Some of the most standout endings are bullying Jeffrey until he shoots up and kills the entire school, joining the white nationalist group and getting sent to jail, making Megan have a mental breakdown on stage in front of a gigantic school play, having the school bombed by terrorists, becoming a famous YouTuber slash e-celeb. You know, there's a bunch of different things that happen, and I don't want to spoil all the endings. I'll get into some of the endings like a little bit later, but yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Flipside's reception. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. The third game in the series, Class of '09, The Flipside, is a very divisive game in the series, basically meaning that most everybody in the community hates this game, me included, and I think it's genuinely one of the worst games in the series. I mean, there's only 3 games in the series, you know what I mean, but it is definitely by far the worst one. The game sits right now on Steam at a mixed review score, with 53 recent reviews being mixed and an all-time almost 3,000 mixed reviews. And the reason this game was so mixed, which I'm also going to get into in a bunch of different ways, like more specifics, but basically the game stars Jecka, aka Nicole's best friend, in the Class of '09 series, and it's her own game that's completely just about her. However, the game is not like looked upon fondly for it being overhyped at launch. Like, the game was like being teased and everyone was super excited because Jecka is a fan favorite character and she's one of my personal favorites in this series, but the game overall just ended up not delivering. It's the shortest game in the series, one of the more expensive games in the series for how short it is, the lack of actual content in the game itself, also the humor just not being the funniest, which I know humor is subjective, but overall it's not that funny of a game, and it's honestly the meanest and cruelest of the game, which I know that sounds contradictory because the whole series is mean and cruel, but like, this game really takes it to a whole new level where the game's not really funny. For the game being mainly about Jecka, it's like she's barely even a character, and I like her, but this kind of proves that Jecka's not really good on her own as a character. I mean, it's not just her, like Nicole and other characters make appearances in the game, but Nicole, or I guess Jecka in this case, I mean, isn't that strong of a character for her to just be the main character. And also the game gets really weird and uncomfortable in a lot of places, and more so than the other game, but I'll get into that later. But that's honestly the main reason why the game just isn't that well received by fans. Last entry on the first layer of the iceberg is basically just about the game's overall like explosion in popularity as of late. Like, I personally have not heard of the game when it first came out, but then recently the game just, I don't know, exploded. Like, I've just been seeing it on my timeline, in my YouTube feed, and a bunch of other places, and a lot of people are really getting into it. The series especially exploded on sites like TikTok, where like content about the game is just so funny out of context. One of the first videos I saw was like out of context moments, and it actually made me want to play the game. And yeah, like I said, the series has like spin-offs and merch and stuff coming soon, so there's a tons of things to like get excited for as a fan of the series, and it just gets more and more fans each day. And that's gonna wrap it up for the first layer of this iceberg. We're now gonna be moving on to the second layer of the iceberg. We are back with the second layer of the Class of 09 iceberg, and this layer is basically just stuff I didn't mention in the first layer, so it's gonna be quicker than the first layer. And yeah, let's begin. Nicole's dad. So Nicole's dad is probably one of the most elusive, infamous things about Class of 09. As stated in the beginning of the intro, her dad killed himself for unspecified reasons. Like, they don't go into detail about it at all, but he did leave a note saying it was Nicole's fault, and we literally just have no reason to know why or anything. Even she doesn't know why, and she doesn't even know why it's her fault that like he killed himself in the first place. There are a few things that we can gather from just Nicole's dad, or I guess Nicole's family life in general. It's stated that her mom and dad are obviously divorced, and we know this because in the game, Nicole's mom states that she's been divorced 8 different times, and that's the thing, we don't know like which of like those people are actually Nicole's dad. Obviously, we know that like none of the random people that she married are Nicole's actual dad, but we know at least one of them is, obviously. But there's no time frame or reference for how long these like divorces were like in between each other. And Nicole rarely mentions her dad anyway in game. Like, surprisingly, despite it being one of the major things like kicking off the whole catalyst of the game and making Nicole the way she is, it's never really mentioned at all. It's probably mentioned very few times and offhanded, and they never go into it. You could also assume that their hair color is probably from their dad. At least Nicole's mom, it's stated, I'm pretty sure in the game, that she's dyed her hair, because her hair is clearly blonde and both of her kids have brown hair. And we don't have any knowledge as if Nicole's brother is actually like related to her or not biologically, but like, again, we could pretty much say that they are just because their hair color. And I don't know, it'd just be weird, a weird detail for them to not be actually like blood related, or I guess what I mean by that is being like half related to each other. I feel like it'd just be a weird thing, especially since we don't even know anything about his dad anyway, so it's like whatever. But yeah, this has led to him being like a very interesting topic of discussion in like the community and stuff, and people just wanting to know more about him. There's even a great like little fan series on YouTube basically tackling like what if there was like a hypothetical 4th game, talking about Nicole trying to like get over it, and it makes the characters like way more sympathetic, and which is kind of cool and interesting, but not really in line with the games that much, but it's still pretty cool. I'll leave a link below if you want to check it out. Trailer music. Okay, so in the trailers for Class of 09, specifically these two, I'm not sure the exact name because there's multiple different trailers for Class of 09, but 2 of them use actual licensed music by popular bands. The first game uses a song by Fall Out Boy called A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touch Me. By the way, I just want to say I love old Fall Out Boy songs because they're always a fucking paragraph. This song comes from their album Under the Cork Tree and is the 11th song on the album. The next song is used in the game's trailer for the second game and is called Say Anything Else by the band Cartel. Yeah, they're pretty good songs if you haven't heard them. I mean, you've probably heard of the Fall Out Boy song because honestly, it's from their best album in my opinion. And Cartel I've never actually heard of before Class of 09, and I think they're a super underrated band. You would like these songs a lot if you're into like 2000s like emo pop punk songs. And yeah, it was just cool seeing them in the actual trailer, so I just thought I'd notice it. They kind of really fit the game's whole 2000s aesthetic. music, even though the game technically takes place after these songs came out. I mean, not that that really matters, but I just think it's kind of funny. I obviously can't play the songs because of copyright, but yeah, check out the trailers and you'll see what I mean. So I just fuck with SBN3's like music taste in general. Like, especially a lot of the characters in Class of '09 like a lot of the same like bands and stuff I do, which I just find funny. Ari's sprite. This is kind of well known, but it's just a funny little detail. So Ari's sprite is the only sprite in the entire series to actually change in between games. Or at least this drastically. So in the first game, when she's first introduced, or you ever you see her, she has the most standout sprite in the entire game because she has this like weird like back-facing turned pose, like with her head like turning towards the camera, but like her actual body's facing like forward. It's a really weird pose, but you see what I mean on screen. So in Class of '09, the re-up, when she's actually introduced and fleshed out as a character, her sprite is completely changed to be a forward-facing sprite. And this sprite overall just looks way better and kind of fits more of like a main character vibe. I mean, I guess they just changed it because she's just a random background character, but there are tons of random background characters that are already in the game, especially like Kelly. Kelly's barely in the first game at all. Same with Emily, and their sprites remain exactly the same. Like, she's the only character to have a change, but I guess it was just an ugly looking sprite, so that's the only thing I could think of. TXT files. Okay, so in Class of '09, every time you get an ending, you get these little text messages, usually relating to what the ending was about. Either like the aftermath or certain characters talking to you, or sometimes just random stuff. You get this through the main menu on your little cell phone. Obviously, it gradually fills up the more endings you get, right? But before that, there was a time that the game didn't have the phone implemented, so the game would leave text files on your computer. Like, every time you would like beat an ending, more text files would appear on your computer. Obviously, it was one at a time after every ending unlocked, but some of these text messages aren't just little messages. They're kind of creepy in a lot of ways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them have like insane ramblings and stuff and like that. So people, honestly, it was probably just creepy for them to get it in the first place. And also, apparently, this was causing people's antiviruses to go crazy. Like, people flagging the game as a virus, or at least the text files as viruses. Obviously, they weren't, but it was probably just, you know, a lot of them being like sure that there wasn't an actual virus on the computer, and something randomly creating TXT files with actual like words in it on its own was probably just, you know, a lot for them to handle, and it probably was just assuming that it was some sort of virus. Obviously, this was patched out later when the phone was actually added in the game, and as far as I know, this is the only Class of '09 update ever, considering that this game isn't the type of game you update regularly, you know what I mean? It's a visual novel. There's not really patches or balancing or any of the normal game stuff that you would see, so it doesn't really matter. And you can't really recreate the text files now. However, if you do pirate Class of '09, it still has this, mainly because the game's probably just not updated to the version with the actual phone. Or it would be a funny anti-piracy measure. Don't ask how I know this. Don't ask how I know that the pirated version is still broken. But every other version works completely fine. Easily moddable. Yeah, this is quick. The game's easily moddable. Like, it's very, very easy to mod the game, and you could just put whatever horrible abominations you want. I'm not exactly sure how, but you could probably find it on YouTube, and from the looks of it, if I had to assume, it's probably just something where you just mod the JPEGs of the characters and just replace them with any image you want. I mean, it's a pretty like simple game and some like simple ass like visual novel creators, so it's not really that hard. But all I know you could really do with it is just like change maybe the background and like the character models. I don't think you could change anything else as far as I know, but let me know in the comments if you've even done this. Background photos. This refers to like the backgrounds of the game, which as you could probably tell are just real life images that are completely blurred out. These are like stock images slash like just random pictures I'm assuming he found on like Google or something like that. I don't know if any of these pictures are actually taken by him. I know he's really into like photography and camera stuff like that, so maybe some of these are real pictures, but obviously a lot of them you could reverse image search and just find like the real life equivalent. But obviously they have like filters and blurred images over it. It kind of makes the game feel more real, and it kind of like matches like, you know, the art style of the game. But they were originally gonna have different backgrounds, which I'll get into way later. Also, the school school that Class of '09 takes place in is a real school. I mean, obviously, because, you know, it's a picture that they have, but school is called Lake Baddock Secondary School. It's in Burke, Virginia, which is, it's just weird seeing this place, like, actually real. Like, I don't know, like, because it just, I don't know, it's just strange. It's like when you see, like, the Gumball house in real life. Yeah, and apparently I also found a Reddit post of some guy who apparently goes to this school, so, yeah, if you go here, shout out to you, I guess. Sorry for the docs, kind of, not really, but yeah. And also, hopefully it's not as bad as the Class of '09 school. It's not the 90s. So, it's not the 90s is referring to two things. One I'll get into in a little bit, but it's not the 90s. The one I'm referring to right now is the official website for the game, or I guess I should really say the official merch website for the game. It features a bunch of merch featuring Class of '09 related shirts, and that's where the plushies are sold and stuff like that. However, the merch on his website kind of fucking sucks. Like, it's a lot of just, like, not flattering or, like, cringy kind of shirts. Like, there's very few of these things that I think most people would probably wear in real life. Let me know what's your favorite thing on this website, but yeah, I just don't really like most of the stuff on this website. And there's a bunch of sick shirt designs in-game that for some reason aren't in the game, but there are a lot of fan-made versions of these things. They did talk about on the Twitter, like, selling the official Bape hoodie that's in the game, and I would actually buy and wear this, like, if it was in the shop already, but it's just not. Voice actors. Yeah, I forgot to mention this in the first layer of the iceberg. I'm sorry about that. It kind of just slipped my mind. Yeah, the Class of '09 has, for some reason, an all-star voice cast, like, or at least I consider an all-star voice cast, like, of actual, like, well-known, notable voice actors. Nicole is Elsie Lovelock. Kaylee Mills as Jecka. Probably the most surprising and most well-known, Kira Buckland, who's voiced 2B, Jolene Cujo, a bunch of super well-known famous anime roles and characters, and those are probably just the most standout ones. Obviously there's way more like actual voice talent, and if you've been watching anime, especially in like dub, you've probably heard some of these voices before. There's also some like lesser known voice actors too, but for the most part they're all super well known. And also SBN3 voices a lot of characters himself, namely Kyler and Jeffrey. Also Kaylee Mills, funnily enough, like, I first heard her, besides from Jecka, I first heard her from fucking a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, which is, it used to play around the same time, like, I got into the series, and I thought I was literally losing my mind.
Stay cool this summer with Dunkin' Refreshers. Dunkin' Refreshers are the perfect pick-me-up to beat the heat. Made with B vitamins and energy from green tea extract. Available in classic flavors like strawberry dragon fruit and mango pineapple, plus the new kiwi watermelon flavor, but only for a limited time. Dunkin' Refreshers. Click or tap the banner to order now in the Dunkin' app.
Like, I would hear this commercial and think it's her, but it actually was her. And yeah, if you've been on Spotify, you've probably heard this commercial too. She's also in this other dog food commercial, which is also funny. Twitter Q&As. This was the final entry of this layer. And the Twitter Q&As are basically, the voice actors were told to answer Q&A questions about the character in character. So yeah, the videos are just basically a bunch of them replying to different things that the community have asked the characters, like usually as jokes, and then the characters respond to it like seriously. Honestly, pretty funny stuff, but there's not much to talk about besides that. I kind of wish they would do other ones with the other characters from the series. It'd be kind of interesting. Yeah, I'll play a few clips from it. Also, this was my first introduction to Class of '09, believe it or not, so I was extra confused. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this layer of the iceberg.
Be honest. Would you eat Frosted Flakes with M&Ms? No, because I don't need to be performative for people to think I'm cute. If you put M&Ms in your Frosted Flakes, you're gonna put an IV of insulin in your veins when you're 45 watching Home Improvement on your plaid couch. What's your go-to Halloween costume? I want to dress like Christina Aguilera from the Come On Over music video. I'm not Ecuadorian, so sorry if that's cultural appropriation.
Favorite celeb? Marilyn Manson, hands down. He's just a stand-up guy. Nothing in his music would ever suggest he'd kidnap a woman and beat the shit out of her. He said we should hear out the Columbine shooters. How can you get more stable than that? Can you help me jailbreak my iPod Nano so I can get the game where you bounce the little ball and break the brick? What the fuck are you talking about? The regular iPod Nano has that. You sound like somebody's dad. Why are you talking to children on the internet?
Now moving on to the third layer of the iceberg, let me know if you even made it this far in the comments below and leave a like if you enjoyed this video so far. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Reddit. Okay, so it's technically 2 separate entries, but I'm just gonna make this one big gigantic entry. This is just talking about the Reddit in general overall. The Reddit was created in 2023, actually 1 month before the second game released, funnily enough. But yeah, like most game Reddits, it's pretty much your standard Reddit. Like it's where you could post like fan art, memes, discussion, a bunch of stuff, just basically all about Class of 09. A lot of news and updates get added here, although this isn't like an official Reddit or anything by SBN3 or anything. This is just a completely fan-made Reddit. Now there are a few things that are notable about this Reddit. One, that there's a few type of posts that have recently, according to like the pinned section of this Reddit, have actually been banned as of late. There are 2 main types I want to talk about. The how would they interact type of post, which basically, to sum it up, it's exactly kind of what it sounds like. It asks if which Class of 09 characters, if they met another character, how would they actually interact with each other? Obviously, because Class of 09 is a very dialogue driven series, it's usually a lot of characters that have like a lot of things to like discuss about already, or just character pairings that are like interesting. For example, some popular ones are like, what if Nicole met like Dexter, Riley from the Boondocks, House from House MD, like a lot of shit like that. Basically, it's like, what would these characters do if they met? However, it's kind of sloppy content in all honesty, and like really low effort content to just spam with. Like it was basically just over flooding the Reddit, so that's why they had to ban it. Another one that kind of overflown the Reddit was the what Class of 09 character do I look like, and this one's also pretty self-explanatory. It was just people posting pictures of themselves saying what Class of 09 character would they be, and then eventually devolved into like what would their personality be in Class of 09. Again, just really weird and not really on game topics. There's a difference between like genuinely wondering what 2 characters would be like interacting with each other versus just posting a picture of you just for like engagement bait, and that eventually got banned completely. So without this Reddit, a lot of this video wouldn't exist because it helps me fact check a lot of like random shit. Also probably mention the Reddit again just because there's a lot of like weird shit around it. Not really like bad weird, but just stuff I've noticed that I'll probably just mention later on. SBN3 music. Remember when I mentioned before that SBN3 is like a multimedia like content creator? This is what I meant. Also probably noticed it when I was on the It's Not the 90s section of the video. Yeah, he has a Spotify where he actually makes music, and he's put out 3 albums, and according to Spotify itself, he's written and like he's done basically all the work for it. Like he's written, produced, and even raps.
That chick is on some bitchin' shit, that's how they were listening. I ain't even listening, busy in my mission quick. Lazy, crazy, playing Jay-Z, she'll only be whistling. Problems got a shuttles whip, but Jesus, I'll be swishing it. At the ocean floor, teach me how to fishing quick. At the psych ward, screw it, guess I'm visiting. Pessimists, saying that they knew better, then they'll say that boy getting pussy like Bruce Jenner. I get cheddar, I get better, I've been getting better. Get a letter, in the letter, it's another letter. Letter G better be sent to me, show my enemies. You fakers been making me take on table with flaking me. Anthem Scott Key, I'll be sitting pleasantly.
And yeah, he basically just does like rap music, again with the whole 2000s aesthetic to it. It's not that bad actually. I was expecting way worse just from like, I don't know, usually when YouTubers rap and stuff like that, it's not really good, but I don't know, it's kind of alright. Like it's not the best thing I've ever heard, but if you want to hear white boy rapping, I guess check out his Spotify. The demo. So apparently Class of 09 has a demo that was released on itch.io in 2020. The game, as it's stated on the actual thing, is 10% of the actual game. So basically, it's not really anything. It's only the first couple of dialogue options, and then there's no endings in this. It just kind of like stops, basically. Like it just appears with the splash screen of Nicole just advertising the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping there was like extra little content here and there, but apparently there was nothing. So I guess I just saved you from playing it. But let me know if you actually played this demo, because I feel like not a lot of people have. Fan art and shipping. Yeah, Class of 09 has a lot of like shipping culture around it, mainly just because the fact that the game hints and teases at.
For a week, it'd be kind of fun. You want to be sexed up, abusive lesbians?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Cause you'd be doing all the abusing.
Oh, like what?
Just weird shit. You'd like put a cigarette out on my neck and lick the burn mark.
So you want to try it?
No.
At it a lot, and like it's almost outright implied. And one of the routes, or I guess two of the routes in fucking the Rhea, basically all about Nicole being a lesbian and like using that to her advantage to like manipulate people. Also, Jecka and Nicole probably being the most popular, and just because they're the ones, like they're the best friend characters, they're always with each other and stuff. But yeah, the game's constantly like gay baiting a lot, so it makes sense. And yeah, there's just a lot of fan art about it, and it's probably the main thing you'll see fan art of in this series, just because like of how popular it is. And also all the male characters are assholes, so like nobody even wants to like ship the female characters with them in the first place, and the game is so like female oriented in the first place. Me personally, I'm not into shipping like at all. It's cool if you like it, I don't care, but yeah, I'm not really into that. It's just never something that like interested me or I really gave a shit about. And the only times I do is usually when it's just canon, like it's actually just confirmed two characters like each other. Yeah, I'm boring, but I don't really care in all honesty. Mobile port. Yeah, so Class of 09 apparently, according to the wiki of the game, originally had a version available on Android for $3.99, but for some reason it was just randomly delisted, and they never ported any of the other games or even brought it back up to the storefront. So yeah, it's pretty weird. However, you actually can play Class of 09 on your phone if you have an Android. Yeah, someone managed to get the APK, which is like the application file for like Android and mobile games and stuff like that. And yeah, you can actually play it, download it, and all you need to do is literally download it on your mobile device, literally hit like open in whatever like program or just in the files of your phone, and then yeah, you get to play the full game, and it 100% works. I don't have a phone to actually test it on, but I did use BlueStacks and it worked perfectly fine. And BlueStacks, for those of you who don't know, is like an Android emulator. I'm not too sure if it's an actual like the game's APK from back then, or if someone just managed to remake the game or port all the files into a version that's playable on mobile. But yeah, it's just kind of cool that someone even did that in the first place. And if you're really interested to try it, I'll leave a link down below. Male characters. So yeah, Class of 09, obviously, it's mainly centered around the female cast. Like, they're the most important characters, and they're the ones, like, you sympathize and empathize with. But there are male characters, obviously, like, no shit. But the male characters are all either, like, horrible, incompetent, stupid, like, sexist, homophobic, misogynistic, racist, or just a pedophile. Like, they're all like really bad, like, and you're supposed to like root against them for the most part. Especially all the like adult male characters, except like very few. There are actually a few male characters that people do like just because they are kind of funny. Like, they're still horrible people. I mean, everyone is in this game, but mainly characters like Crispin, who's probably my favorite male character. We got Kyler, who's also pretty funny. Even Jeffrey, for how horrible he is, like, he has some funny moments here and there. They're kind of like a so bad they're good type characters, where like they're just really funny for how out of pocket they are for the most part. I just thought I'd mention them because like a lot of people on the outside seeing this game for the first time, everybody always knows about like the female characters, but I just wanted to shine light on some of the male characters because why not? Like, I just feel like, why not? They're there and they're an important part of the game. They're part of a lot of routes and stuff like that. But Mr. White disappears. Yeah, so this is referencing the fact that Mr. White just is kind of gone from like the second and third game. He's briefly mentioned in the second game, and yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mr. White is the character who's like this racist photographer teacher who like creates the white nationalist like party in the fucking school. And the reason I'm even mentioning this character is because I don't really like him, obviously. Like, I mean, you're not supposed to like him, but like his routes I don't even like a lot. But I say routes because this man has like a large majority of routes. Like, there's a good 4 to 5 different routes dedicated to this man, which is just so weird. And then for him to just not appear again is super strange. I think he's the only teacher like that where like they completely just disappear from the series. And I mean, I guess they told every joke you can with him at this point. Like, they're all just racist, so it doesn't really matter. Like, they're kind of ran the well dry with him, but I just find it funny. And I mean, there's a similar character in the second game, so I guess it kind of makes up for it a little bit. Well, if makes up for it is the word you would even want to use. And yeah, that's gonna be the third layer. Yeah, this is probably the quickest layer so far. I'm gonna be honest, honest, this was kind of a filler layer, I'm not even gonna front, but hey, it was things I had in mind anyway, so why not? Also, we only have 4 more layers, so sit tight. Pre-game events. This one is sort of similar to Nicole's dad, because we honestly don't really know shit about what happened before the actual game took place. All we really know is what Nicole says in the beginning of the first game's intro. It was implied that she actually, like, had friends. It was just overall, I guess, generally a nicer person before what happened, which obviously it could change you a lot having, you know, what happened to her happen, but at the same time, there's also people and reason to believe that, like, what she's saying is just not true at all, because, like, I personally find it a little hard to believe that just because, like, her dad killed herself, I don't think her personality completely changed overnight, like, and especially because I feel like the way and how strongly she feels about a lot of things, her personality was probably like this from the beginning. Maybe to a lesser extent, obviously. Basically, what I'm saying is that Nicole is an unreliable narrator, which it makes sense. I mean, look at her in the game. You gaslight people and lie to them and do horrible things. So who's to say she's not lying to the actual audience? Because who is she saying this to? Like, she's telling this to the audience, theoretically. Obviously, it's a game. It's to keep you up to speed on, like, what's going on, but still, we can argue that Nicole's probably not even telling the truth, and she might be keeping some details out of the way. But all this doesn't matter because of the next entry. Nothing is canon. That right, nothing is canon. Like, basically, trying to make any canon or any sort of sense out of anything in these games is kind of pointless in the grand scheme, because the way that the games are designed, like, there's no coherency or anything to the story, and basically nothing's canon. You could do any route, any way, anything you see fit, but characters, like, die all the time in different endings, you know what I mean? Like, if you took everything to be canon, it just wouldn't make sense in the long run. Now, obviously, there are ways to make things canon. Like, you could just go by the games, because obviously there are 3 games in the series, and they do kind of follow up. We know for a fact that the 3rd game, the characters do graduate at some point. I guess the only way of trying to make it canon is saying that, like, only the options where Nicole doesn't, like, die or other people don't die, and you basically, like, you get what I mean? You just have to kind of bullshit your way into picking which ending specifically Nicole stays in school and doesn't die, have something else horrible happen. But then at the same time, it just leaves too many questions. We don't really know about the characters' backstories besides just throwaway lines. But you could also see this another way. You can see it like how Fate, everything is canon, and that these are just multiple different timelines with different outcomes. Just like with Fate, we'll get into it. There probably might be evidence to suggest that there's multiple different universes. Mexican Nicole. In the Class of '09 pilot, there's a scene where they go to Chipotle, and they basically have a scene with this character who is literally just a background character. She's just a Chipotle worker, but obviously if you look, you don't even have to look closely actually. If you just literally look at this character, it's clear that this is just a palette swap of Nicole. Like, it's literally just Nicole with darker skin and like a Chipotle uniform on. And yeah, this scene already is just a little funny just because of, like, you know, the scene itself. But yeah, this character just kind of became like a little bit famous in the fandom just because, like, it's just funny that this is literally just Nicole interacting with Nicole, but like obviously just, like, you know, reskinned. And yeah, people call her like Chipotle girl, Mexican Nicole, whatever you want to call her, but yeah, she's just kind of like a little meme within the fandom. Personally, like to have this stupid little headcanon that, like, this is actually Nicole's, like, sister that she just doesn't know about. And the main reason I just say that is because obviously she looks like Nicole, so maybe her dad just has, like, he clearly has really strong genes, because, like, both of his kids look exactly like him and barely look like their mom. I mean, obviously you can argue Nicole is a girl. She looks kind of like her mom a little bit, but, like, you know, the hair color and the eye color give it away. So maybe Nicole's dad just has, like, some really strong ass genes, like some Saiyan / Viltrumite level genes where, like, their kids just look exactly like him. So Jecka is racist. Yeah, so okay, a lot of the characters, I mean, it's a white trash ass school. A lot of the characters obviously could be seen as, like, kind of racist in a lot of ways, especially, you know, because of the Mr. White route. Especially Jecka seems the most to be, like, at least a little bit racist. I mean, she's the most to be on board with the white nationalist route and everything that's associated with it.
I know, yeah. So, how'd things go with Mr. White?
Okay, yeah, about that. So, I was talking to him, kinda confronting him, and his arguments weren't that out there.
I don't get it. He's a political extremist. How is he not out there?
See, we said that, but like, he asked me why it's okay to do Black Pride and Mexican Pride, but not White Pride, and I really didn't have an answer for him. $50 for the day.
Did he mention an ethno-state for white people?
He might have briefly gone into it. Mr. White kept telling me how pretty my skin was. I wasn't paying attention. What's an ethno-state anyway?
A country where all the non-white races are kinda exterminated.
Oh, it's probably not even that serious. All I know is I'm proud to be white.
And hugging and kissing?
Yeah, all of it. But you're pretty busy with all this white pride stuff, huh?
Well, not that busy. I gotta egg a synagogue this Friday, but I could make time.
You know, this Friday's like my only free day for the next, like, forever, so damn, too bad.
What? Oh, well, maybe I don't have to.
Hey guys!
Oh, hey, what's up?
Long time no see.
Jeffrey, I just wanted to remind you that you need to bring the extra large eggs this Friday. We need a big splat.
Of course. Yeah. About that?
Oh my god, I don't want to hear it. I'm so... You little fucking race traitor. Mr. White trained me for this moment. Aryan students?
Imperial Scribe Jecka!
How may we serve you? Jeffrey here is no longer our brother, and he must be eliminated. Take care of him.
Finally, I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, I hated being seen with him on rallies. Oh, Nicole, we just gotta take care of a little business here, but you wanna hang out after school?
Are you actually just gonna have him killed right here?
Well, duh, but it's just politics.
I know she's just doing it because of the compliments, but no, she gets like really, really into it. And it's established that she becomes like a high-ranking member in that group. Basically having like a death squad, essentially, of like, that she could just summon at her command to just kill people. And it literally kills Jeffrey. And also, a couple other times, she makes offhanded remarks about like, not being able to tell different races apart.
I want to dress like Christina Aguilera from the Come On Over music video. I'm not Ecuadorian, so sorry if that's cultural appropriation. Sold me to the Taliban. Then I got sold to some oil tycoon with one of those headdresses. Sorry, I don't know the name for it. Again, I'm not racist. This is one of those really bad times for being an attractive white woman because people really want to buy you. And you're worth a lot, so then they want to sell you. One time I got auctioned off at a Lebanese steak and shake. I couldn't read the sign, but it was shaped like the logo, just in whatever letters they read there. Human trafficking's kinda not ideal. I hope Nicole doesn't get a job at FYE, or this could happen to her too. Or maybe that'd be good, because then I'd have a friend to be human trafficked with. And get fucked by guys that sound like Aladdin background characters.
And stuff like that. Like, it seems to be way more with her than any other character. Even if she, like, apologizes for it. And I think she also gets it from her dad, because a lot of his dialogue seems to be, like, racially motivated in a way. At least from what we see from Flipside. Anyways, I don't care. I'd let her call me a fucking... Why did I say that, bro? Least bad character. This is a common question that always fucking comes up when you're discussing Class of 09. In a world of assholes where everyone's a fucking horrible human being, who's the least bad of these? I don't know why this is such just like a conversation that always keeps popping up every single time. I mean, it makes sense. Like, it is an interesting question, I guess, because there are some characters whose actions are way less bad than others. And usually a lot of people make their own tier lists on it and stuff like that. I'll probably make my own for this video's sake, but there's not always a least bad sort of thing. I mean, there are characters, obviously, and I'll name them right now, that are like the least bad usually in most people's mind. For example, Karen, like, she's the nicest character so far, and she doesn't really do anything bad. She's usually the victim most of the time. She did say one mean thing to Jeffrey, but that wasn't even like verbally. That was literally just in like the yearbook. Compared to what everyone else says, it's literally like the least bad thing anyone has ever said in any one of these games. Now for the male characters, as I previously stated, It's kind of hard to decide on that, honestly. My two candidates are basically Hunter, because as far as I know, he doesn't really do anything that bad. And the only thing I guess you could really say that was bad, he does cheat on Megan. But to be fair, he didn't even like her anyway. He was just kind of trapped, so I don't really know. Also, it was mainly Nicole who was the one that like started it and was like coming on to him. Technically, as far as I can tell, he didn't really like, I don't know, he just kind of let it happen. Like, he didn't try to stop it, and he actually kind of participated a little bit. So if you want an actual answer, it's probably Crispin. Like, Crispin is honestly just kind of chill. All he does is just hit on girls, and that's all he does. Like, he doesn't like go too far. He doesn't like harass them or anything, really. The worst thing he did was send the pics to Nicole, but like, that's just like normal teenager dude stuff. I'm not saying he's right, obviously, but like, it's all he did, and then he got in trouble and made fun of. So that's really it. And he even tries to warn them not to like go out and keep drinking and stuff in the flip side. So I honestly see him as like probably the least evil character. He doesn't really do anything that bad. Although it is said one time in an offhanded remark that he is on probation, but like that's like literally like just implied, or it's said, but like we don't know for what. He just doesn't seem like he would do anything that crazy in the first place. Now, there are other characters that have literally done nothing wrong, but these are like background characters, and that's not fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like saying fucking, who's the least horrible character in, like, let's say a GTA game? Oh, it's a random NPC that just walks around. Like, that's not fair. Like, it has to be actual characters who have, like, some relevance or dialogue to the plot that aren't just, like, literally there for one scene and do nothing. PDF. Yeah, so I think you can infer what this means. Basically, every fucking Class of 09 male character that's, like, especially an adult figure, is some type of pedophile. Like, that's basically what it comes down to. And the game has a heavy emphasis on beating that message into your fucking head. And the game's very anti-PDF, as it should be. But it's kind of annoying. It gets to a point where, like, that's sometimes literally the only joke. It just gets like really annoying. Like, it was kind of funny at first, and then like it just becomes like eye rolling at a point. How many times that word has actually been said in the game script? It has to be like over 1,000 in each game. Like, there's no way. Like, I need to see this. I just don't care enough to actually go through all the games and see how many times it's said. Let me tell you a little secret, just between you and me. It's a little ironic how much this game shoves this message down your throat when something happens a little bit later in this Iceberg that kind of like, well, you know, mental illness. By the way, I am not referring to myself for making this video. Although that could be applied, but no, what I'm actually talking about is, obviously the characters in the game aren't all right, mainly the main like female cast. There's all like, they're all types of like messed up. Like, there's clearly things wrong with them. I mean, Nicole herself self-diagnoses herself as a sociopath, which I mean, pretty fucking accurate. And also, like, they actually have like substance abuse issues. Like, they're very prone to like self-harm, like, as a lot of the characters like cut themselves, or it's implied to. And there's a lot of like suicide references and like even suicide routes. Characters like will kill themselves and stuff like that. Honestly, the biggest case of mental illness in the entire series is probably Emily. I mean, she's literally described as taking meds to like control her like anger and like personality disorders and stuff like that. Once she stops taking her pills, she starts to literally hear like voices and stuff like that.
Really badass if we show her the real state of modern poetry. Real suffering, not some bumper sticker bullshit.
Dude, I'm down for it. What do we do?
Okay. We go to the front of class, say a few words, and then we'll swallow this pill mixture I made. And
a mixture of what?
So I started saving all my Seroquel instead of flushing it, and then I mixed it with stuff my boyfriend gave me, and then I bought Percocet off Kyler.
Well, hold up. You're gonna OD in front of the class?
We're gonna OD, cause death is fucking poetry. And when Miss Ames sees that, she's gonna shut her ass up about poetry for the rest of her life.
Are you sure about that?
Are you backing out?
Well, it's just a little...
This is a two-person gang here, Nicole. Don't make me jump your ass out.
No, I'm cool.
Shut the fuck up!
I said I'm cool with it.
No, not you. I was hearing voices again.
Voices where?
Like in my head. They always tell me I'm wrong about something.
The psychiatrists might disagree, but have you considered listening to the voices in your head?
Whatever. Look, are you down or what?
Totally. Anything you want.
Awesome. You're awesome. I love you, Nicole. Like, I really fucking love you. If you told me to kill someone, I'd do it. I wouldn't tell the cops shit.
What if I told you to not kill someone? Like yourself?
Nicole, I know you're worried, but we're gonna do it together. It's gonna be okay. We got a big day tomorrow. Let's get some sleep.
And also her constant like mood switches. Now, I'm not here to diagnose fictional characters and stuff because I have no clue. I'm not qualified enough. I thought it was worth mentioning. But do let me know like what the characters have or what you think they might have. Scene generator. Yeah, there's a scene generator for this game that was made by the community. And yeah, you could change the backgrounds, what characters say, even what the characters' outfits are and everything like that. It's a pretty cool thing. I'll leave it linked. I was originally gonna make like a little like joke thing with it, but I honestly can't figure out how to use it. I mean, there's probably a tutorial that I'm just not reading or something, but it's also just kind of complicated a little bit. If you're into that sort of thing, I'll leave it linked anyway. Palette swaps. So yeah, as you could probably notice, because this game isn't exactly made on the highest budget of all time, there's a lot of palette swaps, mainly of like background characters slash like just not really important characters. For example, a lot of the cops in the game, or like EMT ambulance people, there are a lot of just the same exact character model, just like swapped clothing or like even just swapped color schemes. Another one is like Hunter and Kyle. These two characters are literally the exact same, just reskinned. Same with Trody and Braxton. Apparently, like I didn't even know these characters were different. I thought they were literally the same character. Principal Lynn and Nicole's mom. Yeah, so it's implied that these two are like fucking or hooking up or something like in the game. I mean, they literally mention this outright in the game.
Yes, hello? Oh, hey you. Oh no, what is it? Are you serious? I guess I'll have a word, yeah.
Mom, we gotta talk.
Shh! Yeah, of course. My daughter just walked in. Okay, see you soon. Bye, sexy. I was just on the phone with your school.
Who at my school are you calling sexy?
Your principal. Why are you skipping school?
But it's never really brought up upon, which is kind of surprising that this isn't like a bigger deal considering the relationship that Nicole has with the principal. And also, thank God actually, because we know how it is when the parents get involved with a fucking route in this game. Let's just say it like that. Okay, layer 5, let's go! Weird shit comes in. Weird ARG. Okay, so where do I even begin with this? So apparently there's basically gonna be an ARG surrounding Class of 09. This has apparently been cooking up since the very first game. Remember those text messages I told you? Well, in the game files, there's actually way more text messages that don't appear in game. And they had like a bunch of random shit on it, like I said before. Like, it's just a lot of like weird stuff. Usually it's like some cryptic like messages about like shit, and basically it's talking about like after high school everyone's like happy except this guy, whoever the guy is in this message. I'm assuming it's Jeffrey because the dialogue, it just seems that it's like Jeffrey talking. I don't think it would be anybody else, to be honest. See what I mean? Like if you just read what I have on screen right now. One of the main prominent text messages says 2010 about me, or about me 2010. I think I said it wrong the first time. This one is probably the most important as it comes back later. Now with the second game, re-up, you get a secret message after beating the game, which I'll play now.
Take it easy, man. Holy fuck. Hold on, no. Here, take my watch. Just put the knife away. Just put the knife away.
Yeah, so I don't know what the fuck that is. So what we can gather from that video is basically like someone's in some type of like hospital slash like nursing unit. It clearly says that. The footage is like really blurry and like the audio is muffled and shit, but I also see somebody like in a wheelchair, but then they like get out of the wheelchair. Also some voice, probably some like staff or security, basically telling them to like put the knife down. We don't actually see this, but then don't actually see whoever's like recording, or I guess, you know, the person in this video like with the knife or anything, but then it cuts to them being outside, and they actually do find like this, like, it looks like a box cutter outside, and there's this watch that's like, I think it says like pizza or something, And they're like clearly running towards some type of like woods or something. And then text appears that says, if God isn't watching, who is? And then we just hear Jecka say, what about me? Which is probably referring to like that text document I said in the original game's game files. So I want to add too that these are like left over in all the versions of the game. Like the first game, second, and third game still have all these messages in them, by the way. Message honestly makes sense because Flipside is, you know, all about Jecka. She's the main character. So this is probably just a tease for her being the main character in the next game. And also the game, presumably, because there's like two routes. One where the characters are still in school and then one like after graduation. So assuming after graduation, class of 09, it's 2010. The next game has 3 different messages, so I guess I'll play them too. Yeah, so this first one is
Who is God?
something. It appears to be some type of like person in a costume like walking towards the camera, and then I literally can't tell what else happens next. It's like just like brown and like you could clearly make out it is some sort of character, and then there's like a little message that said God is watching, but then like you just hear who is God by some like random ominous voice, and then you hear some like type of like song or something. I don't know. This one's the next one. The text is back now, but it says, where's God now? And the background footage seems to be someone like in pain, I guess, and it looks like they're like crawling on the ground, and you see like some sort of light from some like doorway or something. Next text says, Nicole followed the leader. Look where it got her. And it says, do you think Jecka will be any different? 27 tragedies. Why does this matter? Why do you care? And you have your own life to worry about. Now, this is referencing the fact that if you add all the game's endings together, that's 27 endings, 27 tragedies. Again, still have no idea what it means. Maybe the final message will just say something. Yeah, so the final message is basically blaming you for everything that's happened with the games. Like, basically saying you're the one that caused it, which, I mean, yeah, you are. And then the main important thing, we just see, like, someone's, like, we hear like screaming and then someone's like feet and there seems to be like blood on them. I have no fucking clue, dude. But anyway, yeah, this ARG just kind of failed and never really went anywhere. Maybe this was the end, but it's not really an ARG at that point, right? Didn't really go outside of the game itself that much, and I feel like it was just trying to like cash grab on like Doki Doki Literature Club, who did like this sort of like weird ARG thing. Except with that game it fit more because it's like an actual horror game. This isn't. Like, so I don't really know what they were going for. And it's kind of funny considering that SBN3 has said before he doesn't like lore and shit, so and we'll get into that in this layer. Secret ending. Okay, so technically this isn't an ending per se. It's a video message, but unlike the other ones, it's not like weird or cryptic or anything. In the first Class of 09 game, if you beat the game, basically get all 15 endings, you'll unlock a video message, and it's technically, I consider this the 16th ending, because it's just an extra scene of dialogue between Jeffrey, Nicole, and Jecka. However, there is something notable. This does take place after the ending where you graduate and you basically expose the entire school for all its bullshit on stage, like directly after that. But aside from that, nothing really too crazy. I'll just play it.
Where the fuck were you?
Long story. Well, no, it's actually short. I just don't feel like telling you.
Okay, whatever. Can we go now? All the good graduation parties are gonna be out of Coke if we go too late.
Is there Coke at the bad graduation parties or just the good ones?
What do you think makes them good?
I thought you were a pharma princess. Since when do you want hard shit?
Since we graduated and I don't give a fuck anymore. Doing Coke in high school is depressing, but I'm gonna be in college soon. Whose line is it anyway? Mine. I'm Wayne Brady in this bitch, ho.
You want to be some cokehead bitch in college? Because if you do, I fully support it. You'd be like 10 times hotter.
Oh my god, I know. I want to like go full out of control and then marry some rich med major who wants to save me. Ultimate goal.
Is that the ceiling for us?
What's the big idea, huh?
I don't know, I only have little ideas.
Yeah, and I got medium ideas.
You ruined the whole graduation ceremony. I was valedictorian and everything. What did anybody do to you anyway? Everybody's always nice to you and calls you pretty, and all you want to do is hurt them.
Well, shoot, if they call me pretty.
And more than that, they give you things, always help you, and then I just see you screw them over. All I see is you being mean for the sake of being mean. It's like a game to you.
You want me to tell you what you don't see?
I've seen enough.
Have you ever seen a man 3 times your age ask you to fuck him?
Like just this week, or...
What? Be serious!
Sorry, how about 60 texts in one night, all threatening you if you don't go out with the pizza delivery man who sent them?
How would you let some crazy guy get your number like that in the first place?
I ordered pizza with my cell phone. I know your pasty white ass wouldn't get what being in demand is like, but it's a tough job, Jeffrey.
And you don't even get paid.
But if you do, you're a whore. Are you getting it, Jeffrey?
So people like you. Boo-hoo.
They don't just like us. They're obsessed with us. Obsession leads to a lot of crazy shit. And you give the wrong bitch enough crazy shit in her life, she just might snap on everybody.
Sounds like a good problem to have. I'd rather be surrounded by craziness instead of still being lonely. You don't know what that feels like. You don't know what life is like wanting a partner and being ignored by everyone. You're spoiled by social attention and you don't even know it.
Is this your manifesto?
Like what?
At least wait till we get to college before you kill us, okay?
I never said I'd do that. What college you guys going to anyway?
What college are we going to?
Could be Maryland.
Or Florida.
Maybe Cal State.
You're gonna have to shoot up every school in the country at this rate.
Oh, every time I try having a regular conversation, you just make it a joke about me. Like I said, socially spoiled.
A little bit.
Can someone be spoiled by not having a daily fight or flight moment?
What? Like I should be you for a day?
You're way too ugly to be her for a day.
Well, she gets too much attention to know how much it hurts to be me for a day.
I guess we'll never know.
Honestly, I kind of like this scene. It shows like both sides of like the coin, like having like her life be like everyone's like obsessed with her and like a lot of crazy shit and like bad people going after her, but then Jeffrey, you know, just getting bullied every day. It's honestly kind of nice. Like, I don't know, you should just like, I mean, I played it, but this is just a nice scene. I like it. I consider it the 16th ending, but at the same time, they're both horrible people anyway, so they both kind of deserve what they get for a lot of ways. And I feel like you could change Jeffrey at least. Like, it's his fault to an extent, but also Nicole could try to be like, you know, less psychotic. The hat.
I'm too fucked up to fall asleep. I don't like this. What was that? This Benadryl's fucking my brain, missionary.
Hey, how's it going?
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm the Hat Man. You have any Benadryl?
No, I took it all.
Damn, every time I show up, too.
Are you gonna kill me?
I could if you want me to.
No, that's okay.
See, it's never the good answer.
How would you kill me?
Well, I'm made of shadows, so I'd have to go into your brain and get you to kill yourself.
This kind of false advertising.
Could you not put me in the same category as McDonald's?
When do they false advertise?
The 10-piece McNugget? Sometimes you get the Siamese nuggets joined at the breading, and they count that as 2 and shortchange you an extra nugget.
I mean, I kind of count that as 2 too.
Oh, so I get 2 McNuggets, half the crispy breading, and I still gotta pay full price. You're a capitalist, aren't you?
Isn't everybody?
You really make me want to make you kill yourself, you know that?
Okay, I'll kill myself tomorrow. Can you go?
I'm feeling the loose change in your car.
Man, yeah, one of the few good things about Flipside, the Hat Man basically shows up when Jecka's like tripping balls. And yeah, honestly, he's just a really funny character, and I like his model, like how he's like kind of like this weird like flickery stickman shadow give. And also his voice, I mean, his voice is just SPN3 and like his normal talking voice, but it is just kind of funny how like calm he is while trying to also be scary at the same time. And yeah, the Hat Man is based off like a real thing, or a real thing people see when they're like high usually. So yeah, I kind of wish we got more of this, more of like the absurd stuff in Class of 09 games. Sucks that it like took till the final game to do that, and it was only really for this scene and one of the endings, but it's kind of awful. So yeah, but that's honestly all there is to really say about the Hat Man. Who knows if it's just a Jecka thing or if other characters have like their own Hat Men with different hat personalities. But I wish we got to see more of him. Text messages. Now I know I already mentioned this like way back, but I just never really elaborated on it. So you get text messages every time you beat a route. They usually relate to like an ending or whatnot. It's usually just a character texting you about something that happened in that. Usually that character in that route. Each character has their own phone number. It's not just like, oh, Jeffrey, Ari, Jecka. They actually all have like individual different phone numbers. In the first game, a majority of the text you get are Jeffrey, you know, just talking shit, but then there are a few that are different. The wiki actually lists which phone numbers are which, so I'll just read some of them out. Emily's number is 703-913-5600. Hunter's is 703-924-1701. Jeffrey's is 359-4747. And etc. There are a few numbers that are just like listed as unidentified, and it's usually just for like random shit. Like there's some of them that aren't any character specifically. One of the numbers just says unidentified on the wiki page. And some characters are actually just named straight up, like Jecka is Jecka, obviously because Nicole probably actually cares to contact her. So Ari has one, and Ari is just called the gay one in the contacts. Also, for some reason it lists George W. Bush's phone number. I don't know why, but yeah, hates the fans. Oh boy, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, so I can safely say pretty much 100% that it's been confirmed by him himself, SBN3, that he basically hates the fan base. Specifically, this is mainly shown in Flipside, where he basically, his thank you in quotes message that he leaves at the ass end of the game is basically one giant fuck you to like the fan base, or I guess half of the fan base. Like he doesn't clearly hate all of the fans, but a majority of the ones, aka the people who actually, you know, genuinely like the game. Mainly saying, to keep it short, I'm gonna have it on screen so you can read it all because it's way too much for me to read and I frankly just don't care. Basically saying he hates his fan base because it's mainly people who weren't even alive for 2009, much less in high school in 2009, and that basically the wrong demographic were the people that got into his game. Like younger people my age, like in high school now or just finishing high school, and not like people his age who are like in their late 20s, like maybe early 30s. He basically just doesn't like how young the fan base actually is, and like complains that it's not the right demographic, and basically a bunch of other bullshit where he's just like, oh, where the game didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Like just like super doom posting it, like, and like he just says a bunch of like shit that's just really like, wow, I can't believe you're saying this after like, you know, people supporting your game. And Class of 09 is the only reason he even got big. Like I said before, I've never fucking heard of this dude before Class of 09. It's like, I get it that like, you know, your fan base is probably not the people you want it to be, but like, I don't think he realizes that the people who he wants to be into the game just don't care. They're probably like, you know, busy being like actual adults and shit. Like they just don't care about this game about like teenagers and shit. Like, because like it doesn't do anything that interesting or unique, like that hasn't been done before. Like Class of 09 is not an original concept by any means. Now I'm not hating on the game itself. I like the games, but like SBN3 has just been kind of like an asshole. Like he just says like a bunch of things like this, even off of just this message. And he's just not really good at taking criticism. Again, for the pilot, he also like made a post basically saying, yeah, people are kind of stupid for being confused by it. And mainly this came up because people were like confused about the pilot, because if you watch the pilot, it's kind of a mess, like structurally as a story. Like things are just kind of happening with different plots here and there. And it's not even really like it's just more like disorienting because things are happening here and there without any explanation. And especially if you're trying to get people into this series, it's just a weird way to do it because it doesn't explain any of the characters and who they are. Like, it doesn't do anything that the pilot should, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of pilots, they take time to explain the characters and who they are. Obviously, this is only 12 minutes, so they can't spend the whole time doing that, but yeah, it felt like something just for the fans. But yeah, again, he was complaining about that. There are tons of more examples of this that I'm gonna get into. But that's basically it for now on what I mean by like him hating the fan base. Obviously, he doesn't hate the whole fan base again because he continues to make shit. But just the way he treats the fans, or at least some of them, is just kind of crazy. And it's not even like, the Class of '09 fan base isn't even that bad compared to other fan bases. At least as far as I've seen. I don't really contribute to like fan base stuff or any media. I mean, I know I'm making a video about the Class of '09 games, and I'm a Class of '09 fan, but like, I'm not like a community member, you know what I mean? I don't really associate myself with fandoms, I just like things, but still, from like the outside looking in while making this video, it doesn't seem like a bad place. It just seems like people just have fun, and it's just weird he criticizes them for that. And also, yeah, no shit, your game about high schoolers is gonna attract high schoolers. Like, it's a relatable game regardless of what era you're from. Even in 2000, like, I don't even think the game really, it could be in any year, really, besides, like, a few references and, like, you know, phones and stuff. Like, it could be in any year. It doesn't really matter. Like, the game, honestly, weirdly is kind of timeless, despite it being set in a particular era. So, I don't know. Yeah, sorry for the rantiness of this entry. I just kind of had this on my mind, but, yeah, we're moving on now. Flip side is a big middle finger. Yeah, so, I'm not gonna harp on this too much. Yeah, basically, I already talked about how the game is just not well received, and a lot of people don't like it for many different reasons, and the game's just kind of half-baked or whatever. And this was SBN3's response. I'm gonna read it out. It was okay. It's pretty hard to top the re-up, to be honest. LOL. Not hard. I'm just not putting tons of effort into this game. That will get zero coverage by journalists. Re-up is just nearly impossible to outdo without having Emily around, to be honest. She has so much potential. Re-up is entirely possible to outdo. I could have made Flipside 8 hours long if I wanted to. Spend 4 years developing a game that would get zero coverage regardless of how good it is. What? What are we? Okay, so you didn't make it good because you didn't want to? Okay, cool. Thanks, guy. Or who knows? Maybe he just really does think that he can't outdo Re-Up. And I mean, Re-Up is the best game in my opinion, and probably my favorite in the series. So who knows? Also, what fucking self-respecting journalist is gonna cover Class of '09? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you think this is? Like. Side character worship. This is a weird thing I've seen with Class of '09 fans where like they really put emphasis on like background characters. Like, I really don't know why. Remember that like Braxton or Trody, whatever the fuck, one of them, people like really like that character, like really like that character. I keep seeing random shit about him and it's like, who fucking cares? He's in like 3 like lines of dialogue. It's just super fucking weird. Like, he's the most nothing character and does nothing. It's not even like a meme. Like, people genuinely like just keep gassing this character up for some reason. Fewer endings in each game. I put up the chart before, like previously, I'm forgetting which layer exactly, of there being less choices in each game, which, okay, it makes sense. There are significantly less endings in each game. First game has 15 endings plus the secret little message, which I count as 16. Re-Up has 7 endings. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter because the game's like way longer because there's little individual like sub routes kind of where like there's like a bunch of extra dialogue scenes which are pretty cool. And like I said, I don't really mind it being shorter if the game overall is longer with content. So it is kind of cheap, that is a little expensive. I think for 7 endings, the game honestly could have been DLC. I have no idea why it wasn't DLC. Maybe it's just something to do with the game's engine not allowing for DLC, or I don't know, like it'd probably just be more complex to implement that and just make a whole new game. Then the flip side has 5 endings and all of them are bad. Like, or well, most of them are bad. There's one that's not technically, but yeah, it just gets less and less, and it's like, for what? Especially because it's on the pricier end. Like, it's the first and I mean the second and third game are the most expensive. I mean, not like these games are super expensive, but still, like, I think it's like $15 for 5 endings is insane, especially just for the lack of like content and quality, and you don't even get that many choices to actually pick from in Flipside. It's just kind of absurd. I think I'd much rather have, in another world, we get Flip Side as like a game again with 15 endings, and then you could still have some of the bad endings, but just have more endings. Like, there's so much wasted potential with Flip Side. And I'd rather have Re-Up as like a DLC expansion to the first game, and then there still could have been room left for like a third game, but hey, he did it this way, so I have no clue, and you can't do anything about it. Nicole suicide and Jecka POV. So one of the only decent endings in the Flip Side is technically not even an ending from the Flip Side. Basically, you get an extended, sort of like longer version of the ending where Nicole hangs herself in the first game. And yeah, it's one of the most shocking moments in the original game and in Flip Side.
Is seriously no one home? Hello? Maybe your headphones are really loud. Why is it so quiet? Don't tell me she's still at school. Nicole? What the fuck? She did it. No. Oh my god, she left a note. Books, puzzles, and pawns. Don't be mean. Don't judge. Her mom did this? That's why she was hanging out with those idiots. What do I do now?
Feet Side. This is the lovingly given nickname to Flip Side because, yeah, I've been hiding it the whole video, but you definitely know this. Especially if you're in the Class of 09 fan base, but if you're not, like, aware of anything, if you're just discovering it from this video, the third game, Class of 09, The Flip Side, is super, and I mean, like, grossly and obnoxiously foot-based. Meaning there's so many jokes, if you want to call them that, about feet, and it's just so, listen, I'm not judging, you can like whatever you like, but, like, I just find this personally really gross. And sure, there's a lot of, like, gross shit and gross, nasty jokes in, like, Class of 09 anyway. And there technically have been worse routes, I guess. Nicole, you know, there's the route where she literally becomes, like, a fucking MySpace whore. Basically, in Flip Side, there's a route where Jecka needs to get money. That's basically the whole game. She just has to get money because of her dad. Her dad just divorced her mom or whatever. And yeah, it starts with Jeffrey, of course it does. Yeah, basically she gets paid for people to step on her, suck her toe, like just all types of gross shit. It's really bad. And most of the game is just dedicated to this, and it makes it worse because you hear all the dialogue of the characters like doing all the weird shit, and then like Nicole joins in, and then like, oh my god, it's just so awful. Dude, like that's the only thing I could really say, and it's fucked up. In this game, they literally make a joke about Dan Schneider, kind of fucking ironic, right? With all the feet shit in this game. SBN3 edgy fanfics. So in the Class of 09 Discord server, I'm not in it, by the way, because one, like I said, I don't really care, and two, I've heard you could just get banned really easily in there, so nah, I'm not dealing with that. But anyway, SBN3 is in there, and he basically wrote like really edgy, over the top fanfics of his own character. So yeah, I'm gonna put them on screen. I'm not reading all of them because there's a lot of them and they're way too fucking long, but I just skimmed through and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what am I even reading? Necro ending, let's just call it that. But yeah, probably one of the darker and most just out of nowhere endings in Class of 09, and in the first game nonetheless. Gym teacher Coach Kobe, who's like probably the worst teacher in the entire series. Like, he has everything bad, like all the pedophilia and stuff of every other teacher, but like even worse, like it's just way more of an extreme. And he's also like violent and like angry, like the whole shebang. Basically in this route, Nicole doesn't want to participate in gym class because she's just like, you know, she's fucking skinny as shit and she just like doesn't feel like doing it because she doesn't need to. And also doesn't want to just change. Anyways, just to get him off her back, she changes anyway. where she basically runs into him in the locker room because, yeah, he's in the girls' locker room just being a creep. And he basically starts flirting with Nicole, then Nicole flirts back just to, like, you know, use him for whatever, like, money, I think is the real reason. Try to bribe him or whatever. They end up going on a date, and you end up going back to his place, and that's where the route ends because he chokes you out, kills you, and then it's explicitly stated that he, you know, with your corpse. Yeah, this is just kind of like out of nowhere, and this is a really quick ending you could just get. So like, imagine just getting this as your first ending. Because aside from the suicide route, I think this is the most disturbing ending in the series. Or I should say one of. The troll face guy. Okay, moving on to something a little bit more lighthearted, and I'm being so fucking serious. You can find the AMA on Reddit. The fucking guy who created the troll face coded the first Class of '09 game. I should say programmed, not really coded as far as I know. At least that's what he says, and yeah, his name is in the credits. Yeah, I just find it super fucking weird and fascinating that the fucking guy who made the troll face helped with Class of '09. Like, that's way too fitting. His name is Carlos Ramirez, and yeah, he created the troll face. And the Reddit AMA, it's basically, obviously it's an AMA, so there's a bunch of questions just asked. I honestly recommend reading it for like more details, but he didn't take a revenue share like what he was offered. He just accepted a flat payment, which he somewhat regrets because like obviously the game is way more popular than he ever thought. That's why he only accepted the flat payment. Says he doesn't really need the money though, and that if he could go back, and he would have probably obviously just taken the revenue share, because he said there's been indie games that have way more time and were way harder to make. They have nowhere near as much success as Class of '09, even though it's way simpler and probably not as much effort as a lot of those games. So yeah, honestly, I would kick myself too, honestly. Worst ending. Again, this is another topic that's super like up to interpretation. Anyone can say like which ending they think is the worst. Personally, I think every Flipside ending is just the worst, but if I had to choose one, I'm gonna just let myself from a year ago say it.
Did he see the crowd outside? They gave him a heart attack. Dad! Dad, it's gonna be okay! I'm coming in. Don't freak out. Dad, are you... Wait. Nicole?
Oh no, she caught us.
Why the fuck are your toes in his mouth?
Don't act like you don't know.
Sweetheart, I can explain.
Shut your flavored seltzer ass up and feel those feet.
Oh, God.
Nicole, with my dad? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm just a broke bitch with no limits.
I'm gonna fucking...
What? I needed the money. Wasn't that your excuse?
I'm so fucking done with this.
No, you just saw that right. Yeah, Nicole foot fucks her dad and then is like, Jecka just is like traumatized. This genuinely like got a reaction out of me. But it's so fucked up that like Nicole would even do this because like Jecka, they literally need each other. They're literally their only two friends. They're just friends with each other, no one else. And it's absolutely horrible. For like what reason? Like, and she's so like horrible about it too. Like, it's not even like just a thing she just does in secret or whatever. Like, she's like mocking her while this is fucking happening. It's so absolutely fucking horrible. It's for what? Like, we know Nicole does horrible things to just get back at people, but like, not to Jecka, bro. Like, this is her friend. Like, every time she fucks someone over, it's usually just some like shitty fucking male adult or someone who's like crossed her in like way more of a bigger way than this. Like, what the fuck? Weird sexualization. Like, this is something that a lot of people, it's not just me, I've been starting to know this, that like ever since Flipside and they made the characters 18, they've been drawing them in more, let's say, you know, just a certain way that like it's becoming a little weird, especially because in Flipside, you know, that whole started with all that like weird feet shit just because they turned 18. Now with the recent like boardwalk spray shirts or whatever the fuck, the artwork there, and especially this one of like Kelly, bro, is like kind of crazy. And I know this might seem like, oh, you're being a prude, you're being weird, but like other people are starting to know this too. I personally don't care. Like, they're fictional characters, but it is just a little contradictory that this guy who's been saying all this shit about characters who are like this age, yeah, he's making drawings like this. And I mean, it's not him drawing, like SBN3 is not the artist behind the games, but still, it's just a little weird at this point. You could have just drawn her wearing this shirt. Why do you have to draw it in this specific way? Speaking of drawn in this specific way, the artist. All we know about the artist for Class of 09 is the wiki says, and the wiki says that it's SBN3's nephew. But other than that, his name is listed. His name is Michael Martinez, but literally I looked up Class of 09 Michael Martinez, and I was not able to find anything at all, so who knows how accurate this is. It said that he worked on the sprites for the game, like around when the first game came out. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess, did he stop working? I have no clue. I mean, the characters don't look that different, like from game to game, at least sprite wise. The only one is Ari, but I already mentioned that, and that's just, that could be easily explained with just a new sprite was drawn. You're probably wondering why no music is this low into the Iceberg. I just think it's an interesting thing to me. I don't know, I kind of just added this one because it's like a weird little thing that you don't think about, but then you realize there's no music in Class of 09, or at least there's barely any music. No like custom soundtracks made for the game or anything. It's mainly just ambience, and I mean, it makes sense because of most of the environments there wouldn't be music playing anyway, but I always just find it strange, like when you really think about it. Like, you don't really think about it, but then you just listen in and you're just like, wait, there's no music. And I don't know, it just kind of like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just weird. Now, there are some scenes where like you could hear background music, but it's like super muffled and distorted, and we have no clue like what any of these songs are. Title screen. This is something I literally found out about like right before I was about to finish making this video. Someone found out that there's this black square that like appears sometimes in like the game's little animation on the title screen. You'll just see it's just some black square until you take it into Photoshop and change the color correction. There's a secret message, and people have been trying to decipher what the actual pill bottle says. It's just side effects as far as we can tell, but we don't even know why this exists. Maybe again, it's part of that weird ARG that we just have no clue about. But yeah, just very weird little secret. We are finally on the last layer of the Class of 09 Iceberg. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much, and yeah, let's just get straight into it and finish this. I'm tired. Nicole gets more cruel each game. This is pretty self-explanatory. Nicole just becomes like a complete sadist at the point of Flipside. Like, it's not even funny. She just like fucks over everyone, regardless of if they're her friend or not. Especially Jecka, for some reason. The player is God. Yeah, this is basically referencing the fact that in the weird ARG, the player is also seen to be the god of the universe. Like, that weird voice tells you that you're God, and basically it's your fault for causing everything in the series, which, like I said before, it is your fault. Like, you literally chose the routes, but yeah, they never really went any further than that, the ARG. But yeah, but also confusingly, SBN3 at his little thank you in quotes message at the end of Flipside, he says that he's God. So who's really, I don't know who's God. I'm God, you're God. Are there any other gods I should know about? New game. Yeah, so SBN3 as of late, he's been really teasing hard that there's gonna be a new game. Now, this was the final Class of 09 game in the trilogy, he said, but he never said he was gonna stop making Class of 09 games. He just said he was gonna stop making Class of 09 visual novels. We have no fucking clue what this could be. Some people have theories, maybe RPG, maybe fucking action game, some other type of game. I have no clue. Card game, maybe. Mobile game, who knows? Let me know in the comments what you would want to see from like a Class of 09 game that's not like, you know, a visual novel. Personally, it'd be really funny if there was a Class of 09 fighting game. I just love fighting games, and I think like seeing these characters that don't have any sort of combat ability at all fighting each other would be funny. Your favorite NPC? Your favorite NPC is a visual novel YouTuber. Mainly focuses on Danganronpa, Class of 09, Your Turn to Die. You know, basically a bunch of popular visual novel games. Apparently, on March 10th of this year, he tragically passed away in a motorcycle accident. Yeah, like I said, he talked about Class of 09, and he's done Class of 09 theories on his channel. I've never personally heard of him, to be honest, until I made a Danganronpa speculation video about the announcement of a new game. And there, I got a bunch of comments saying and mentioning your favorite NPC. So yeah, I never really got to watch his videos. I might actually actually start watching his videos. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention him considering, like, you know, he's part of Class of '09 and it's just kind of tragic that he just passed away, like, very recently. So yeah, rest in peace, fly high. Jeffrey is beyond help. Yeah, so remember everything I've said about Jeffrey, how depraved and fucked up he is, especially in Flipside, like all the shit he's willing to do for his like sick little fetishes and fantasies, and the text we get at the end of the game from presumably his mom is basically just saying he's just beyond help, like he's too far gone to do anything about him and his like weird urges and just whatever. These last two are kind of joke entries trying to end it on a little bit of a lighter note. One, I just put male Class of '09 fans because I feel like there's not a lot of us out there, you know what I mean? Like, at least to most people, I just assume, or most people I've seen that are into Class of '09 are girls. Male fans, we're out here, you know what I mean? Let me know if you're a male Class of '09 fan in the comments. That's about it for that. I just wanted to say that. That was just kind of funny to me. And lastly, multiverses. Okay, so bear with me. This is just a crackhead idea I have. There are multiple Class of '09 universes. What do I mean by this and what's my proof? So we got the main continuity, I guess, the 3 games, right? And we got the anime universe. Now, I'm not talking about the anime short, like the first one ever. If you remember, that's still technically connected to the game universe. I'm talking about everything after that. So the actual anime pilot and the shorts, those are separate universes because there's nothing from the previous games that have been mentioned, and all the characters, they look slightly different. You know, they have that anime art style. Nothing's been brought up from the game so far. Now, until anything like that gets brought up, like any of the other routes from the previous games get brought up, will be its own separate universe. And then now recently, 2 extra multiverses have opened up. Plushie universe. Now, I originally wasn't going to do anything. I was just saying, okay, this is just an outside of marketing thing. However, the anime short where Nicole interacts with her plushie and gets killed by her plushie confirms that the anime universe and the plushie universe have crossed over. And in the final plushie video, at least the final one at the time, we see that there's a live action Jeffrey, implying that there is a live action universe. Dude, it keeps opening up. There's too much. It can't handle this, bro. We get the Class of '09 movie with Kyler played by Ryan Gosling. I'll let you know. But yeah, that's just a joke entry, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Holy shit, it was so long. And yeah, thanks for watching if you even made it this far. Like I said, I'll still make Class of '09 videos, just not often, just whenever I feel like talking about it or there's new content. But yeah, it's good to be back, and let me know if there's anything I got wrong. I'm bound to have gotten something wrong. And there's a lot of stuff I wanted to include, but then I just couldn't find. Like, there's stuff that like just disappeared like as soon as I wanted to make this video that I knew about. But yeah, let me know if I got anything wrong, and see ya.